Well, I am not superstitious, so I know it is just a coincidence that it is pretty much exactly 8 o'clock that we are starting. It just happened that way. I didn't time it. Yeah, it just happened that way. Now, it is a little over 12 hours ago, though, since I quit last night. And I think what we should do is to get to this place where we are right now, and I did get 2 of those little tiny pieces of photo etch mounted on this turret. And where am I going with this? Well, I read my comments this morning, and one of the comments that I read, which I will share with you, the guy had what I consider to be a brilliant idea. Now, there's only one thing wrong with this idea, and I'll talk about that, when we actually get into it. But I think what we should do is roll back to what happened yesterday afternoon and evening, to how I got to this place, and then we'll continue on. I'm using the helping hands here to hold this milk jug lid just at a bit of an angle so that the drops will run down into the edge there. That way I can use less drops. We'll also get it off of the tweezers here. I don't know if you can notice it or not, but there is considerably less, well, somewhat less debonder in the milk jug lid than there was. This stuff evaporates, which is kind of disconcerting because that goes into the air that you're breathing. Now, I don't think I read anywhere on the bottle where it says vapors can be harmful, at least not from the debonder. Now where did it go? Don't tell me it pinged off somewhere and I can't see it now. Oh no. Oh, there it is. Guess it was stuck to the tweezer somehow. Well, let's just see what's going to happen here. We should really have the macro lens on, shouldn't we? I think that's probably pretty cleaned off. Okay, here's what's happened. First we used the debonder, and then I used the ultrasonic cleaner. And now I am checking it with the microscope. And I am not seeing any residue of CA glue. I think we're good to go again. Okay, you know how I'm big on wanting to do perspective. Okay, just for perspective. And we're going to use our tiniest bit to try and drill out that dimple where we filled it up with the CA glue. Give us a better chance, I think. We're going to do it right this time. Okay. Should we be slipping the macro lens on? Okay. You know, I'm wondering if maybe... Well, yeah, it's slipping off. I think maybe I should take Mr. T's poking device here. Come on, you had it before, Ron. Can't you do it again? Okay, let's see what's going to happen now. Alright, I believe we've gone down far enough. If I go down too far, it's going to go out of sight. I have repositioned very, very slightly from the way I was before. I'm holding the tweezers in my fingers, by the way. Now, new plan. What I'm going to try to do is to apply the CA glue to the bottom of our whatever that is, and then put it in the hole, rather than flood the area with a droplet of CA. Now, I'm going to try to do this on camera. Bear with me. Now, before that cures, how am I going to tap that down? Okay, I don't know if that was a good idea or not, because it almost looks like there's not very much on there. Now, maybe when I'm editing this out, I'll realize, yeah, there was enough. Okay, I think I'm going to do the front one much the same way. Just want to check it here. Yeah, that should work. Okay, well, you saw me do the one in the back. I'm just going to go ahead now and do this one, and then the remaining 3 turrets. Okay, what happened here was I pushed stop on the camera, and I was turning off my light, and I heard this little voice say, no, we want to see apply the CA. Alright, I'm going to try and do this one on camera as well. Whoops. My fingers caught the railing, but I didn't bend it. Oh, I dropped it on the cloth.
Now I can hear these words still echoing in the room. This time we're going to do it right.
Okay, I've reapplied CA to the bottom there. I think I think that's down. You know what? Once we paint this stuff, the paint is going to flood into that little hole and act like glue. Now this is not perfectly straight. It has to be bent kind of forward here. You know what? That's a little bit on the loose side. There we go. It's straight now. I'm looking more or less straight down on it, so mind you, these things aren't going to survive anyway.
You'll remember yesterday I said I wanted to go outside and put up some suet at the bird feeder. Well, I did. And when I was out there screwing it to the bird feeder, I realized this isn't very good. So I went online and I ordered a suet holder. It's supposed to hold 2 of these cakes. I don't know when it's going to come, but when it comes, we'll see. And I'll show it to you.
I guess I could have put this on the rotator too. But I'm going to just leave them the way they are and straighten them maybe after they're painted. I got to be careful where I touch this thing now. Okay, what do we got here? 751. Okay, I think that's it for the rollback. Almost 7:52 now. We'll see you in the morning. Well, it is morning, and I got a reminder that I can hang the C fret up on the wall here. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Okay, let me get myself organized. I do have lots of wire here. Now I haven't measured it yet. I think that possibly the finest wire I've got is maybe a little bit too fine, but maybe the next size up. Yeah, it might be just about right. I'm just going to go ahead and measure this now and see how it compares to these little pieces that we put on in the rollback. Okay, now you notice I got a little stain right there. I just have to remember that particular stain is the center of the field of view. And if I can keep everything I'm doing right around that spot, everybody should be able to see it. Okay, so far I haven't lost any of these. Now, what is wrong with this idea? Well, let me sort of explain here while I poke at this, because I can't concentrate on measuring it and tell you what's wrong with this idea at the same time. So anyway, when I upload a video, where am I going with this? When I upload a video, sometimes when I've had a problem in that particular episode, as I'm viewing it, the solution to the problem is so obvious, okay, that I will think of it, but so will other people. Then other people will comment, and in the next day's video, I'm kind of reluctant to mention that I thought of that, because people will think, yeah, sure you did. Well, sometimes I actually did. I don't lie to you. I mean, I'm not being paid to do these things, so I don't have to look good. If I don't look good, well, that's the way it goes. However, what is wrong with the idea of using wire is, I didn't think of it myself first. Yeah, I think this is a brilliant idea. So I'm going to go ahead with it, but I just want to try and measure one of these right now. So let's just see if we can. Now this is a little bit bent. So when I put it into the caliper here, I'm going to want to sort of squeeze the caliper to straighten it out. Okay, now we're going to be doing this in. I don't know if you can see it there. If I can get the light just right. Anyway, take my word for it. I'm measuring in thousandths of an inch here. Just make sure that it's at 0. Yeah, it's at 0. Okay, now how am I going to get this in there so it's not going to fall right through? Maybe if I set it, if I can set it right there. Now, I was noticing when I was looking at this with the microscope that it is a little bit more one way than the other. Okay, well, you know what? It's 6.5 thousandths here. That's about the little tiny bit more than a human hair. Okay, now I don't know if I have any wire maybe that fine. Well, yeah, I do actually. You take the wire that's wound in like an earbud or something like that. That wire would probably be that small. I don't know if I have any of that left. Let's go down to the workshop and look. Well, anyway, we don't need to make it that fine. It does not have to be this small in diameter. Well, it's not diameter. It's actually square. You know, I got to get myself a decent microscope that I can hook a camera onto. The one I've got right now, it just doesn't do a real good job. Anyway, so we'll call it 6 to 7 thousandths of an inch. Now let's see if we can find some wire that, is about that size. Maybe a little bigger. Okay, I got curious here, and it's 7 thousandths in the other direction. 7.5, yeah, 7.75. So, it's pretty square, but not quite. More rectangular than anything. Okay, have I beat this to death enough? This wire is about 5 thousandths, maybe 6. This one is 9, maybe 9.5 thousandths. This is like house wire. It's around 64 thousandths. I think it looks like 14 gauge. I'm not sure. It might be 12. If it's 12, it would be a little heavier than normal house wire, although some of the wiring I've done in my house, I do use 12 gauge. Better safe than sorry, right? Okay, so I'm going to use this one here, and this is you're going to say, well, that's a lot bigger than that photo etch piece. Well, I'm going to go to the computer and I want to show you something.
In past episodes, I have said something to the effect of, above my computer monitor is a surveillance monitor. Well, there it is. And it's amazing how the smallest amount of movement will catch your eye. Even a rabbit way off in the distance, or a bird, or anything. You'll notice the movement, and you'll have a tendency to automatically look at it. Anyway, let's move in on our drawing here. Okay, here we are in CorelDRAW, and I've drawn out in orange, looking end on. In other words, looking at the girth of this little piece of photo etch, it is approximately 7 thousandths of an inch by 6 thousandths of an inch. Now, if we take our 9 thousandths of an inch diameter wire, you can see that depending on how you would look at this, the piece of photo etch might actually look larger than the piece of wire. So I'm not too worried about the fact that our wire is 9 by 9, or approximately. I mean, come on. Whereas our piece of photo etch is maybe only 6. I think that it's probably going to work out pretty good. At least that's the plan. Now, our little drill bit here that we used yesterday to drill out the holes
is approximately 10 thousandths of an inch. I just measured it a little while ago. And the wire is 9, so the wire should go through, a hole that this thing drills. But I think we better check it and, test it out to make sure. Now, I don't know, I can't remember if plastic is like wood, but I know down in my workshop, if I was to drill a hole an exact size with a bit in wood, the hole has a tendency to, you might say, close over. In other words, a 1/4 inch hole drilled exactly a 1/4 of an inch with a 1/4 inch drill bit will be slightly smaller once you remove the bit. I don't know if it's because the burrs of the wood or whatever, but maybe plastic will do the same thing. So I wanna check and just make sure that this is gonna fit. Okay, somebody's thinking, you can't use that for a little bit like that. Well, you can if you're careful, very careful. Now, we will put the macro lens on when we do this. And I was thinking I should maybe grab a piece of scrap plastic and but I think that if I'm careful, I can do it in one go here. I'm going to have to put my magnification hood on, obviously. Maybe what I should be doing, I'm trying not to get my fingers in the front of the lens here. I'm going to have to reposition. Okay, a moment ago, probably about 10 minutes ago, I was doing what you see me doing right now. Only I didn't have my right hand underneath the collar like I should have, so I could micro it up. And it was kind of binding, and I let go. It's a good thing I got 5 of these. Once again, the room is still echoing with, if you're very careful, it'll work, I heard a phrase something like that a moment ago. Well, I was sort of careful. What I meant was to be careful when you're cranking the bit down. Anyway, I think it'll be a little easier now. Maybe I could go up just a little bit higher. Try and bring it up so it's only maybe a millimeter from where I want it. From the height I want it, and that way it'll be a little easier to. If I'm very careful, I should be able to. That's the idea. Okay, now let's put on the macro lens. Okay, I'm hoping that little dimple that's in this thing is going to sort of act like the pilot hole. Well, let's get our wire and test it out.
Okay, I will move in a minute here. From normal viewing distance, or even fairly close up, we can see that I didn't get them very centered. Let me get a shorter grab on this thing here. Okay, it fits. It fits just about right. There's enough friction that it's not going to fall right through. Because if it falls right through, might kind of have a hard time getting it. Anyway, okay, I'll reposition here, and I'm trying to think now what would be the best way to do this. Maybe cut a piece just probably a quarter of an inch longer than we want, and then after it's glued in place, nip it off to the right height. I think maybe that's the way to go. I'm gonna have to wrap this episode up for today, folks. Thanks for watching, everybody, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.